In the 20th and 21st centuries, preferred mode of transport is the automobile. Of late, electric vehicles are coming onto the scene. It's been such a part of society, these vehicles, that it's become entrenched in our folklore, in our sport, transport, in our pride, in the manufacturing industry, and just to have a good time in. Now, the dark side of the automobile has been the deaths that have occurred while you are driving one or being hit by one. Some of these accidents have been disastrous and very tragic. I'm Michael Beashel, Australian historical fiction writer, and there were equally horrific accidents and deaths in the 19th century by that horse-drawn vehicle, not the motor-powered one. Like today, there were whole industries that were associated with the horse and cart, from saddlery, harness making, cartwrights and coach builders, and all the associated industries that fed into that mode of transport. That was common at the time. In the previous video, we have seen Governor Charles Fitzroy. His extroverted and sociable personality, enjoyed by all in Sydney, together with his regal bearing and keen mind. He also liked to race his carriages and coaches and enjoy the thrill of speed. Unfortunately for him, he was to be involved in an accident that would cost him dearly and tragically, and it was to end the life of the one he loved. According to the Australian newspaper, on the 7th of December 1847, the phaeton, with Sir Charles Fitzroy in the driver's seat and Lady Mary and Lieutenant Master as passengers, capsized at the entrance to the drive of Government House in Parramatta, throwing all three occupants to the ground. Horrific. When the son of Sir Charles rushed to the scene of the disaster, Sir Charles took hold of his hand, kissed it, and with passion said the words, "Oh George, I've killed Lady Mary. I've killed your mother." Lieutenant Master died on the scene, and we have seen from previous videos that the inhabitants of Sydney and Parramatta like to put on an act of public grief, which underlined the importance they attached both in death to the events and the lives of the highborn. A lot different to today. Don't forget, this is 1847. Shops were closed. Businesses was at a standstill, as the newspapers were printed with black borders on every page, as a portentous sadness descended on the city, whose inhabitants prepared solemnly for the emotional bath for which such a death provided the occasion. On 9th of December, mourning coaches lined the dusty road from the city to Parramatta, and men dressed in sombre black crowded the decks of steamships plying between the two towns. People gathered inside and outside of St John's, Parramatta, to hear Reverend Vincent recite the moving words, the breathless silence of the large congregation being broken only by the hysterical sobbing of those unable to restrain their emotion. It's sad stuff. It really is. They're very much in love, both the Fitzroys. After the service in the church, the funeral carriage bearing the remains of Lady Mary and the young lieutenant, the two chief mourners, and all who had gathered to pay their last respects, proceeded slowly to the neighbouring burial grounds to hear Reverend Vincent recite solemnly the blessing of death. So, tragedy hits our amenable Sir Charles Fitzroy at the time of his life, which would be at his peak. Now, this brings us to the end of the series of videos for this late colonial period. The final video will see a wrap-up of just how colourful, interesting and vibrant this period was. Michael Beashel signing off for now. Goodbye.